Hey everyone, today we're going to ask, is the book of Revelation legit? Let's find out. Shalom everybody, and welcome to Beit Tefillah. Growing up in the Christian church, it seems like every time we heard of something bad or scary happening somewhere in the world, our elders would claim that we must be in the end times, as the book of Revelation warned us about these things. You know, and we heard the book of Revelation get connected to all sorts of stuff, from earthquakes and volcanoes and tornadoes to 9/11 and computers and credit cards and COVID or wireless banking or whatever. Every time a war would pop off somewhere, someone would say, see, there's supposed to be wars or rumors of wars. I remember people saying back in the day that Obama must be the Antichrist, and then it went to Bill Gates, and today people think it's Donald Trump. It's crazy. I've seen a lot on Facebook forums, internet forums, and stuff like that over the years where people are discussing and trying to figure out who the 144,000 are, who the Antichrist is, and exactly what is the mark of the beast. Some people sure wasted a lot of time on the number 666. Today, the end times videos, they're very popular with everything going on in the world. There's a lot of hype within the prophetic movement, and a lot of it is based on the book of Revelation. When Christians reach bizarre conclusions, it's a sure bet that the book of Revelation is usually used. So we need to wonder, is there any legitimacy to this book for the people today? The book of Revelation states that it was written by somebody named John, but nobody knows who this John actually is. Some people thought the book of Revelation was written possibly by the Apostle John, but the book of Revelation was written near the year 95 AD, so that rules him out, as he'd have been dead for years at that point. There was a lot of debate back in the day if the book of Revelation should even be added to the canon. Too bad the naysayers didn't win out. Most people think that the book of Revelation is about the future and the end of the world, but the secular scholars, most of them don't think this way at all. There's a lot of scholars out there that have studied this book 9 ways to Sunday and past events, and many agree that the book of Revelation is all about Rome at the end of the 1st century. Everything points to Rome. The Whore of Babylon is Rome. The beast system is the whole group of emperors, and the heads of the beasts are specific individual emperors. And this is all just mainstream scholarship. The book of Revelation was most likely written by someone in the late 1st century who was upset with how Rome was persecuting Christians. And so he wrote about how horribly demonic the Roman Empire is. But he was telling the people, hey, don't worry, because Jesus is going to come back soon and end it all, and then Christians are going to rule the world. Well, we can be fairly certain that the book of Revelation's got some failed predictions, because in that last case, Jesus didn't return soon to destroy the Roman Empire, because it continued for over 400 years at that point. The book of Revelation is not for anyone today, because at most, it's a 1st century apocalyptic writing that was done to lift up and comfort Christians who were under Roman oppression. It wasn't to predict modern events. Its graphic language and colorful symbols paint a lot of bizarre pictures for the reader, and it's usually misunderstood, which leads to crazy interpretations when people point fingers and apply them to modern people or current events. It was simply a writing for that particular time period and not for the future. So now we know why the book of Revelation was written and who it was written to, even if we don't know who wrote it. However, we all know that in today's world, many people are going to use that book to make a bunch of crazy interpretations and predictions, as they treat the book of Revelation as some sort of crystal ball that predicts the future. The modern day prophetic movement is a perfect example of this kind of thing, as they somehow think the word or the title or the term prophet means one who predicts the future. However, this is not a biblical description of the term prophet. A prophetic word may have an element of prediction, but a true prophet brings the word of God to the people. He brings the Torah to the people. Most people in the prophetic movement are Christian, which means they disregard the Torah and the Word of God in favor of their dogma and traditions. So that means they're not prophets at all. God's not using them. They're just running around making all these crazy predictions, acting the fools. So I hope they keep getting funded to live that lifestyle and do more, because it's just nonsense. For a deeper study I did into this, please see the video I did on the subject entitled, What is a True Prophet? I'm going to add a link to that video below in the description. Many people use the book of Revelation to try to figure out or describe events or news stories that they're seeing or that they're hearing about today, whether they're about world disasters, economic problems, acts of terrorism, political issues, sickness, or environmental anomalies. Christians worldwide have wondered if they've been living in the end times for a long time now, as they see all the pain and suffering and injustice and sickness and death that's rampant, wickedness that seems to be all over the world now, and people hope for answers. They yearn for answers, and they really hope for a righteous ending to it all. So they look to the book of Revelation to make some sense of what's going on around them and think that, hey, Jesus is going to come back and just end it all. Why do a lot of American Christians think that the book of Revelation and the end times don't really start unless it comes here to America? Isn't that an awful conceited way to think? What about people being persecuted in other countries? Isn't it the end times for them over there? They're being persecuted and they're being killed. Isn't Revelation happening now? Well, I guess not, unless it comes to America and it's happening right to your front door. That's just silly. I remember Christians saying, well, hey, the book of Revelation is a companion book to the book of Daniel. But when you actually study the book of Daniel and the book of Revelation from a logical and scriptural point of view, it's easy to see that the authors of the book of Revelation simply repurposed some of these visions from the Old Testament's book of Daniel and some from the book of Zechariah, and just twisted them and repurposed them to create stories to put in their book. And that way it made it look like it was legit. They even took the liberty to invent some things like the mark of the beast, the 144,000, the Battle of Armageddon, stuff like that. And it's all just complete nonsense and only believable to the people who don't study the Word of God. I made a few videos over the time talking about things like this, such as why the Antichrist is fictitious, why there will be no mark of the beast, and the truth about Satan. I'll put links to all the videos that I put up here below in the description. This video would be super long if I talked about all those, and I'm not going to rehash all those out here. The idea of the Battle of Armageddon most likely comes from a twisted understanding of Zechariah chapter 12, and I'm not going to go into that in this video, as there's other videos up on this platform that discuss that. But read that for yourself. It's just, there's going to be no Battle of Armageddon. That's nonsense. I suggest that people study the Old Testament before giving any kind of credibility to bizarre apocalyptic explanations and theories that many people have, because these things were based on misused prophecies or outright fabrications. You know, when you think about it, the whole book of Revelation is just like a fortune teller's dream. These fortune tellers who just scam people by telling them things that could be happening in anyone's life at any time, as all these events that are going on today have probably been happening for a couple thousand years, just for centuries and centuries, and they can probably fit every generation. Like wars and rumors of wars. Hasn't that always been a thing? I mean, look at all the fighting going on in the Middle East. That's been going on since time immemorial. It just keeps happening. It's very sad, but there's always wars and rumors of wars. It's going to fit into every generation. We hear about more things going on in the world due to the internet and these instant news feeds. Think about it. If halfway around the world there's a tsunami coming in, somebody's got their cell phone and they're filming it, they can put that on Instagram or Facebook or TikTok. We can hear about it 2 seconds after it's happened. So all these things going on and they're being reported like crazy. It seems like there's more things going on in the world today. But people that read and believe in the book of Revelation try to guess and fit events into, oh, maybe that's one of the 7 seals, or maybe, hey, that's one of the 7, wait, that's not one of the 7 trumpets, that's one of the 7 bowls. It just doesn't stop. It's just crazy. The bottom line is the book of Revelation was not written about or for us. It was written and intended for the 7 churches of Asia Minor a couple thousand years ago. And that's it. But anyway, I hope this video blessed you. Thanks for watching and being a part of Beit Tefillah. Please sub to our channel if you haven't done so yet, and give the video a thumbs up, as it means a lot. We sure appreciate it. A shout out and a shalom to all who are Yisra'el and scattered worldwide in the dispersion. Everybody be blessed and have a wonderful day.